Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion, please binding by the Afterbirth Plus. I will almost never say this. There is no world in which this run can be worse than our last run. And I know I'm inviting evil into my life by saying that. Y92N6EDF! I know I'm inviting evil into my life by saying that, but I also, like, you son of a gun. Genuinely, truly believe it. The last run, even down at the end of the run, we were running into trouble. So, I mean, we had 1 HP left when we won. That's not a normal circumstance. So I don't, and you're probably aware of this, not exactly the smartest guy in the room when it comes to using compost. I understand, I believe that the way it works is it turns all consumables on a room into flies and spiders after you use it. And if there are no consumables on a room, it doubles the flies and spiders you already have. So you can see it's something where, like, I know it's a 4-letter word in the modern political climate, but you kind of got to bootstrap yourself on this one, right? Is this how you use this? You got to find a room or create a room with a bunch of pennies or red hearts or something like that on it, and then on top of that, you compost it, turn it into enough flies and spiders that your rate of losing flies and spiders is lower than, or is slower, I should say, than your ability to get another charge on your next room. You know what I mean? I think I explained it relatively okay. Mom's pad is definitely not what you're looking for. Even at its worst, compost still tends to be okay. You know, we still gotta look for a bomb before we get too attached to this here. I have to say, by the way, you know, I'm not quite at that point where I want to get so anecdotal. And you know, on the last episode, I was like, man, this run is never gonna get anecdotal. Then I started talking about anti-vaxxers, so who knows where this one's going. I don't know. And I hope this episode is not coming out the day after I get a bunch of angry tweets that are like, do your research, sweetheart. Maybe that's the case. You know, I'm not trying to alienate anybody. It's really only like, you know, you're kind of on the same level of being like the earth is still flat. But anyway, I don't want to get, we don't need to go down this road, all right? This fine. Life goes on. So who knows where we're going here. But I gotta say, you know, the subject of video games, a few Isaac episodes ago, I was like, you know, I think I burned myself out on Battle Royales. I don't really feel like I'm, I don't feel the pull anymore that I felt for PUBG. Maybe the pathways are just destroyed. And then over the past, like, 4 or 5 days, I'm like, dude, all I want to play is Apex Legends. It turns out, I mean, it's not that I was wrong. I was being honest to the way that I was feeling in the moment. But I had, like, a few good games where I started to understand, like, the weapons I like, and I got my sensitivity down to a level where I felt like I could actually shoot enemies. Started picking up some wins. And I hate to say it, some wins where I wouldn't say I carried, but definitely a few wins where I wasn't carried. You know, where I was an equal contributor. And, you know, we played on Austin's stream on Saturday for a few hours. We got a couple of wins there. And, you know, on one of them, I felt like I was a really major part. That game's good, dude. And if you don't want to play it because of the fact that basically it costs you Titanfall 3 in your perception, however valid or invalid that is, that's fine. I understand. I 100%, you're preaching to the converted from the perspective of vote with your wallet. I understand that. But if you're wondering why whenever you express the opinion, you catch some resistance, it's because, not because you're not playing the game, but because your post history is exclusively complaining about playing everybody else playing the game. It's basically what it comes down to at this point. But I don't want to argue about video games. There's other things in the world to argue about, you know? I've argued about video games enough this weekend. I really don't want to lose my Deal with the Devil precedent. We had Deal with the Devil precedent on our last run. And what good did it do us? Well, they tried to give us 2 potentially good books, but we already had a good spacebar item, so I wanted to roll on deals with the Angel instead. And I actually think that Trisega Saturn Ceratops, whatever the item is called, the little brimstone lasers, that combined with this is hilarious, by the way. That combined with Tiny Planet to make the run doable but scary. So why did I do this? I don't like marked as an item. Why did I do this then? Pretty much 100% because our rate of fire was so unbelievably bad that were it not for the rate of fire up, I actually think our odds of winning go down. I mean, at the end of the day, it's pretty simple, right? Is basically, I think our odds of winning go up having picked this item up. Plus, again, I actually think that one of the kind of unforeseen, I don't want to say consequences, but knock-on effects of maybe recording less Isaac is that I feel a little bit more open to being zanier. Not because it's weird, because you'd think that every episode would be a little bit more precious as a result. And I do think that's what the effect is. But it's not that the win is precious, it's more that the entertainment value is precious at this point, you know? So why not take the opportunity to get a little weirder, and who knows, maybe we'll discover something truly great. So DPS-wise, we've gotten a little bit better. Quite a lot better, actually. We almost doubled our rate of fire. And we're pretty much on pace for boss rush. Pointy Rib is actually a really good get for free. I shouldn't be acting as if that was like a, you know, just a minor thing. You know, that's not an amuse-bouche. That's a full-on appetizer. Please. So yeah, I mean, I talked a little bit about my weekend in the last episode, but there really wasn't much else to touch upon, you know? As much as I've been trained to believe that, you know, from sitcoms, that getting your car towed is like a disaster. I mean, it wasn't cheap. I'll give you that. A parking ticket on top of the towing fee. But at the end of the day, I don't know. It was 100% my own fault for misreading the sign. If anything, I'm just like, it's not like I wish they would have come into the store, which is actually a bank, but what is a bank but a store for money, and been like, hey, is this anybody's car before we tow it? It's more like I feel bad for wasting the time of the towing company. And I'm like I didn't go in there and go like, you know, I demand to speak to, you know, whoever's in charge here. I was more just like, I'm dumb, I'm sorry. It's the first time I've ever had any, like, car-related offense, except I will say one time, I went to get my eyes tested, and we parked in a parking lot that said it was for bank customers only, and I am not a customer of that bank, and when we came out, I did have a $60 parking ticket. So that's the only other one that I'll give you. But I was just embarrassed, if anything else. But it happens from time to time. Life goes on. And apart from that, I mean, it's Sunday, dude. I'll tell you, this episode is probably... I'm trying to think of, like, the order of when things are coming out here. I've been playing a variety of different games. I've really come around on Tetris 99. I actually think Tetris 99 is good now, and also so dangerous that I don't want to play it. Because I played for, like, an hour on Saturday. Sorry, on Friday on stream. And I just got to the point where I was like, oh my god, you know, if I don't stop playing it right now, I'm going to be seeing Tetris blocks in my sleep. I'm going to have the real, you know, eponymous Tetris effect. And then, I played like 6 more games after that. Because I was like, well, when I said one more, I meant one more good one, and blah, blah, blah. For a free game, I think that's, I think Tetris 99 is really cool. I've come around on it. To some extent, at least. I still think I will probably never win a game until I, either just through happenstance, manage to be matched against garbage players, or alternatively, if I decide to ascend to greatness myself. Dude, Holy Mantle's an incredible pickup. It also, you know, it highlights for me, Tetris 99 does, the, a spectrum that I've been aware of more in the last year and been talking about more in the last year, and that's the spectrum between caring at all about being good at video games and having fun with video games, and they influence one another, of course, but then also, you know, you get where I'm coming at this from? Because, like, I was playing Tetris 99 on stream, and I was doing, you know, I was pretty consistently top 30 or so, which is not horrible, but, you know, definitely people were not like, oh, the win was ripped from his grasp. People were like, this guy's got no chance to ever win. So they were trying to teach me, and, you know, when the advice is good and simple and easy to implement, I was like, thank you for your tip. That's very helpful. When the advice was at all complicated, it makes you feel like a jerk, I'll admit, but it's not like I felt good about this, but I was like, your advice sounds hard to implement, so I don't really want to do it, because I just, like, I don't, at the end of the day, I don't really care about, you know, leveling up my Tetris skill to the point where I'm a pro, you know? I just care about maximizing my enjoyment with Tetris, and Tetris 99 specifically, and I would argue that my maximal enjoyment probably does not come from being the best player in the world of the game, and especially given the cost that it would take to get there. You know, the opportunity cost of me playing other stuff, basically. And you always feel, I feel like a pariah to some extent when I bring up stuff like this. But, you know, whenever you play a game that has any level of competition and you just opt out of learning, people act like you're actually, like, performing a half measure in real life. And it's really just more that, like, you know, I think for me, you wouldn't believe it based on my performance in video games, but I'm actually, like, pretty competitive. And it's an instinct that I try to work against, because otherwise I can be kind of, dude, we're going for broke here. I can get kind of chafed when I lose, and it's embarrassing for me to admit that as a 30-year-old man. I honestly think a lot of it, I take responsibility for myself, but I think a lot of it was being like an only child, so that whenever I played video games as a kid, I just played against the computer and usually crushed them. And then when I play against another human being, I was like, what's this? I'm not winning literally 100% of the time. This is unusual to me, and ergo, unfair. But anyway, so you know, I can be a competitive person, but if you play a video game in a competitive mindset, most of the time, Smash is like a weird exception for whatever reason, but most of the time I'm at my happiest when I win. If you play in a casual mindset, I think it's just a little different. You know, you can have fun just playing the game. That's where I'm at with Apex Legends right now. I see no desire to go look at the, oh, what gun has the best ability to get bullets down range and the armor piercing and, oh, the damage versus purple helmets on this one. I'm just like, hey, I know what guns I like, and I know that for me to have the best chance possible of winning, I have to click on the enemy, you know, in their chest or their head, ideally. And I like that, you know. As soon as it starts to get a little bit more, and I know I have this instinct still because, you know, it wasn't that long ago I was playing Dota. And I recognize that kind of, like, propensity in myself to get super try-hard about something like that, and then, really, I think the most fun I had with Dota was when I was learning, not after I had learned things. It was like, oh, that's a really cool technique, and then I'd implement it 100 times, win, you know, 48 to 52 of those, and be like, I hate it. Anyway. I'm out here representing the people who don't really care if they get better at video games, and you know, would like to get better, but also recognize that it's a leisure activity. If you take enjoyment out of getting to that level of competition, more power to you. If you don't, you know, sometimes I think it's valuable to just nip it in the bud and be like, you know, I'm not gonna spend 6 hours practicing doing triple T-spins in Tetris 99 just so I can come second instead of fifth. I would rather, you know, watch Eric's performance on Jeopardy this week. Don't worry, it's not another Jeopardy anecdote, I promise. I haven't been watching enough this week anyway, because I've been playing too much Apex Legends. What the heck does Lost Quark even do? Lost Quark. Increases the radius of all creep produced by Isaac and his familiars. Well, let's take a missing page. Yeah. I don't know. Dude, if it, like, doubles the creep size, that would make Lemon Mishap more viable. Like potentially, like, interesting and viable. But for right now, I'm not that interested, to be honest. What I am very interested in is, and this is why I didn't fight the boss, having enough HP to take our deal with the devil. Because really, at this point, like, we're in a great spot. We just need to live long enough to be able to take advantage of the great spot that we find ourselves in. Basically, it's gonna be hard for us, oh, that was a little close, to die. But the only way that I see us dying early here is if we die right now. Before we, you know, we take a deal with the devil, we're on 1 heart, we get hit by a champion. It's a very plausible case for disaster. So, knowing that we have guaranteed deals with the devil, and as a result are very, very likely to get, okay. Like I said, you got 1 Isaac episode a day, you gotta maximize the level of Zane. What do you got for me here? Hold on, I'm going back for lost, Quark. And then I'm gonna try to use this against the boss. Inevitably, the boss is going to fly, but, let's see what we get. Gertie. I mean, it is larger. I mean, I really shouldn't, but this is like the only time in my entire Isaac career I've ever used Lost Quark, so, like, why not? And let's just get real funky with it, dude. I'm ready. I'm prepared for the consequences of this. For better and for worse. I really wanted one of those to work with me. What do I want to see now? Well, I would be super happy to see a 9 volts in particular, just so we could use this once per room. And that seemed pretty good, but I don't know. It's a little weird. One thing's for sure. Watch out for tinted rocks. Our HP is going to go way longer than it looks like it'll go because of the fact that we have Holy Mantle, but it's a bit of a strange one. I mean, that was, at this point, that was pretty much my, my weekend. I didn't do much. I don't feel compelled to, like, do that. I know it sounds like antisocial. I don't really mean it like that. I just love the indoors. I spent like a decade pretending I didn't. But it's just the honest to goodness truth, my man. I like my own fridge. I like my own chair. You know what it is? Ever since I got this Herman Miller, I'm just a snob about chairs. Nowadays, everybody want to talk. They got something to say. Hello, Ruka. No, I'm telling a joke, but also the chair is very comfortable. Come on up, boys. I still think we should win. It would be very nice to get a deal with the devil that lets us take more deals with the devil. You know? 9 lives in particular is a good one. Abaddon would be real nice. My son, why? Yes, I love you too. But you know, you're looking mischievous. And to what end is what I ask myself. To what end? Is it a Tomo-related end? Are you looking to ambush your brother? That's okay. That's a level of mischievy that I support. Yeah, let's try this. Magic Mush would be real nice. It's not like we're using our bombs for too much. That's a... I mean, I guess it's technically a worse trinket for the kind of meta we're running right now. Joker. Actually good, if we save it till the Cathedral. Or at least... Oh, I'm bad. Please. Oh, why would you just stand there? And then almost stand there again. Oh my god. It is unkillable. Okay, now I'm nervous. It's okay, though. As long as we don't take damage, our deal with the devil always presents for us an opportunity to get ourselves out. Even a Judas's Shadow would be awesome right now. We could derive a lot of value from that. I mean, at the end of the day, this is really like, it's a bit of a prototype run, if you know what I mean. Like, this is not a run you would ever take on like a streak or anything like that. I'm just trying to see if Lost Quark's value, you know, exists, reasonably speaking. It definitely is not better than Satanic Bible. That much is extremely clear. Dude, it's 9 lives. So I'm gonna go absolutely bonkers on all options here. And see what we can get going on. Yeah, hello, my son. Hello. My needy boy. What do we want first? Because we're gonna get the opportunity to take both. Probably Gimpy. And then let me run some numbers. If I blow myself up, do I respawn in the deal with the devil? I do. So I would rather do this, and then we can just, whatever HP we happen or are blessed enough to get over the rest of this run, or this floor I should say, we can now put towards this life. I don't necessarily anticipate that to be a truly, you know, stellar change for us, but I did sort of see, like, why not give it a try? And I stand by it. My son, you can't be there. You can't see him right now, but he's like on the arm of my desk chair trying to sit down, but there's no like cat spot for him to sit. So he's looking and he's like, where am I gonna go? He's gonna go to the desk. No, you're not gonna go to the desk. Where you're gonna go is you're gonna go this way with me. You're gonna go this way with me. You're gonna go this way with me. And then you're gonna go into the box. The box is for cats. That's where you belong. There's nothing more flattering than a cat that's willing to put itself into an uncomfortable position to make you more uncomfortable. Because a cat's #1 prime directive, the majority of the time, is comfort. For them to be like, I love this human being so much, I'll make both of us uncomfortable. I mean, that's true love right there. That's something special. Yes, hello. Welcome to the desk. I don't know if I've mentioned this. You can't be here. I don't appreciate... I mean, I do appreciate your desire to be here. Don't get me wrong. It's more just I don't want you putting your foot in my coffee cup. For both of our sakes. Because I'm still going to drink it, right? Like... I'll drink that cat for coffee. I would rather not have to, but your foot's gonna hurt too. It's a whole, it's a lose-lose. Okay, I mean that being on the chair is still bad, but I can live with it. So we still have an item room and a shop. We know our deal with the devil is not useful for us any longer. We already saw it. Was it useful for us to begin with? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it, like, literally was. Much closer to becoming Guppy. I don't know if Gimpy is ever going to do much for us. And, dude, I'm super stoked. We got the very... okay, well, see you later. We got the item we specifically asked for. Cheap bomb. Cheap bomb. Cheap bomb. No. So I am a fool. My son, you can't be here. You gotta go. I'm sorry. You refuse to interface with the room on a cat's level. As a result, you gotta, you know, go out the door for now. I'll play with you after the episode's done, okay? Goodbye, Ruka. It's been nice. Get your cat treats that are shaped like mice, but they're made of cuttlefish. Want fresh beef? Well, you wish. Goodbye, Ruka. It's not for me. Please? Alright. Remember, deal with the devil's useless, but we're in kind of like I don't want to call it damage control, because I don't really see it like that, but we're in a position where we just want to minimize the amount of lives lost. We got 2 more deals with the devil. If one of them's Guppy, or if we get Guppy from an alternative source, I feel pretty okay about our chances. Anything that allows us to get more HP would also be worthwhile, but please keep in mind, I am aware of the fact that we opted out of the easy win with Satanic Bible. I just wanted that to be known, okay? And I think it is known, but I still have some, you know, when I make an obvious, like, lampshaded mistake in Isaac, occasionally there's still people who are like, why do you do that? And I'm like, well, in this case we did it to, you know, investigate the potential efficacy of a trinket that I've never respected with an item that I specifically asked for and got. So it felt a little rude for me to be like, hey, you gave me exactly what I wanted, now I'm not even gonna take advantage of it, you know? Plus, you know, just literally, I'm curious about the efficacy as well. Now, at the end of the day, how effective was it? Not really that effective. Certainly not the kind of run you would, or not the kind of synergy you'd build a run around. We might as well walk on it. Yeah. I mean, it's been an interesting run. The last run was interesting as well from a synergy standpoint. And again, I sort of feel like this is, you know, when you're recording less Isaac... I gotta go back and see if that's a tinted rock. I feel a little bit less pressure for every run to be like, you know, good. I don't mind. I mean, if we have 7 train wreck runs a week, that's okay to stomach. You know, it's just if you have... Because you're only recording 1 a day, I guess, on average, is what I mean by that. You'd be surprised. I can't tell. I mean, I do need new glasses. I'll give you that one, but it's not due to the prescription. I've actually just worn these ones so long that the frames are falling apart. You know, my head, it changes size. I lose weight, I gain weight. I've had these for like over 4 years now, something like that. So this is like, it's under more stress than like the International Space Station hull. Well, I honestly... You can take one of these without losing a life, but neither of them are worth it. Basically, you'd be paying 1 HP, in my opinion, for a deal with the angel once. It's not necessarily horrendous, but it's pretty bad. Guppy's head could be in here. Not exactly a high percentage chance, but, you know, why not give it a try? And I haven't even looked... Basically, since we got marked, I haven't looked at our damage, but... It's okay. Genuinely okay. 6 rate of fire, 6 damage. And then on top of that, all the other, you know, weirdo effects we got going on here. They're fine. Not a, you know, run to write home about, but certainly not that bad. And, dude, thank God for marked. Without that, you know, we might, even with all of our other items available, we might be at like 9 rate of fire. It would feel a lot worse. That's not me reconciling with Mark Ed. I don't think it means that marked is a good item. I think what it means is, in desperate circumstances where you have no other choice, it's probably better to take marked than it is to just keep sliding slowly into this repair, you know? It's a big curse room. We're running out of Guppy outlets. The world I'll definitely save for the next floor. Okay. I'm actually not that displeased. You know, the spiders are at least useful. Dark Bum would be another really good pickup. Come on, man. Thank you. Should grab it. Yeah, I mean, for a run that's this low on HP, I really think we've got to look at it honestly and say, like, were it not for Holy Mantle, this would be a disaster. I don't know if there's any, well, actually, I shouldn't say that. There are other items that would work for us, and we had them, i.e. Satanic Bible. But, you know, I guess I can't really be like, thank God for Holy Mantle. Because I gotta remember, my own worst enemy on this run was myself, and deliberately so, you know? Basically, what's happening right now is I put the game on hard mode instead of easy mode, and then I'm going, you know, oh, why didn't you just put it on easy mode? The game's easier that way. Yeah, fair enough. It's actually an extremely valid point in the circumstances. It's a little strange to complain about the difficulty of the run that you created for yourself. I'm not really complaining. It's more just intrigue. I do not see any tinted rocks. I do not see any blue rocks on the womb today. Can you imagine living in an era where songs like that were like the most popular songs in the world? Like being at the saloon, and then, you know, some lady's like, what do you want me to sing? And everyone in the audience is like, Camptown Races! Camptown Races, sing that song, doo-da, doo-da. I don't know why I'm just picturing a bunch of people, like, dabbing to this. Camptown Races, sing that song all the live long day. Gonna play all night, gonna run all day. Sometimes, I'm gonna bet on the prayer. And they're like, again, Camptown Races. Play, she'll be coming around the mountain. She'll be riding 6 white horses when she comes. When she comes. This is a pantomime from the audience. She'll be riding 6 white horses when she comes. We might as well grab this at this point. Like, I'm not saying it's any worse than, you know, kids like 100 years from now will be like, hey, check out this hit song from 2018. Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang. I'm not trying to be, you know, like, you know, the mumble rap back in my day, we had rap we could understand the lyrics to. I'm just saying, like, at any, if you cherry pick from any decade, you know, you can get into some, you can get some examples of comical music. A lot of the, you know, people would be like, man, the 90s were, like, so good for music. A lot of the songs that hit #1 in the 1990s were also trash. You know, I'm too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy for my shirt, so sexy it hurts. I remember watching Canadian MTV, which is hilariously known as Much Music. Yes, I don't disagree. Is it any more hilarious than a television network that only airs reruns of The Hills being called Music Television? I'll leave that up to you to decide. Hey, wait a minute, NL, I thought the joke was on you, and now you've turned it around. It's called Jeet Kune Do. Look it up, sweetheart. But, you know, I was probably like 3 or 4 years old. And, Right Said Fred's I'm So Sexy. Or I'm Too Sexy, I guess, was on TV. I remember when the Macarena came out. I mean, I'm not saying I'm that old. I mean, I'm old enough to have experienced it, but, you know. I remember the first time I heard the Macarena and being like, that's a real infectious ditty. And what do you know? Here we are, you know, 25 years later, and it's probably the most enduring cultural artifact of the 1990s. Well, these are not the sorts of items I would have preferred to see. I have a very simple methodology, in my opinion, for winning this run. Save Krampus's head for the truly awful rooms. We know what they are. Adversaries, probably gates, definitely cages. Like, our run is not so spectacular that Holy Mantle should be expected to carry us through all these situations. It's great, and, you know, without it, we would be just in a truly terrible circumstance. But it's not quite good enough. Two of Hearts will not do anything for us, unfortunately. Oh, that was pretty dumb. Where is my remaining foe? Where are you? Where are you? I'd really like to go. Okay, pop up, pop up. We got him, boys, right where we want him. Under lock and key. Don't you shoot at me. Come on. There we go. We got a red heart drop. Yo. It's actually a weird... I hope we get a payout here, because otherwise this is kind of a weird waste of Krampus' head I didn't think about. Why use Krampus' head on a dead end when, you know, we could have just died and been never having to go through the room ever again? It's a very valid point that I had not considered, and, you know, the context of that does matter a lot, I think, in this situation where things are pretty delicate, to be honest. So I am trying. You know, you got 21 bombs. Just trying to keep, you know, a little bit of utility out of those while simultaneously not relying on them specifically to do everything. I don't think Continuum's going to do too much for us. It's one of those items that you wish came with... you know what? I was going to say you wish it came with a stat bonus. Then I realized it did. A range bonus. And then I was like, I mean a relevant stat bonus. And then I was like, you know what? They've done enough for Continuum. Giving it a range upgrade is totally fine. Don't be salty just because, you know, it's not tears or damage. It's a pretty okay get for us. I was just thinking to myself that if we get the virus, we can afford to take it. And in fact, we might want to... Wait. If the mood strikes... we've been hit, so let's try this. If the mood strikes... Deliberately run into enemies while Holy Mantle is active to try to maximize virus damage and also grab potential Demon Hearts. It's really the Demon Hearts, let's be honest. Could make a big difference for us. Well worth another bomb. Like, this is a good example. There was a battery charge sitting out there. I saw a chance to grab a Demon Heart. Thought to myself, let's do that. Seems mission appropriate. Please, this is another one where that's very justifiable. Tried to walk into him at the last second. We gotta be getting close. That was very bad dodging on my part. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is terrible. You've been hit once. You've been hit twice. That one was by creep. Been hit 3 times. Okay, one's dead. This is very, very important now. Get this son of a gun out of here. Oh, thank God. It was still a terrible room. You know, but I figured we had to do it. And we did. So at least we didn't lose any more lives than was strictly necessary. So at the end of the day, all we need to do is dodge. And it sounds so simple, but really it is. We just keep the crosshair on the center, and then we dodge, and we will win. Now it's simple, but it's not necessarily easy, despite how it looks like it's going right here. Mostly because we still have to stay very close to this enemy as a result of my reflection. Yo, that was not a bad performance. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. See ya.